On tonight's episode of Obscured Reality, join us as we take a look at a recent news article regarding Congresspeople traveling to Florida's Eglin Air Force Base to have an official meeting with the Air Force regarding UAPs and how they were turned down and told, get out of town. Let's take a look at next week's congressional hearing on UFOs. Sit down, sit back, relax, and join us on our journey through obscured reality.
Welcome to another episode of Obscured Reality. Join your hosts, Mark and Stephanie, as they take you through a journey of the extraordinary, bizarre, and often frightening world of the unknown. Explore topics of the paranormal, UFOs, alien abduction, lost civilizations, mythical monsters, and other unexplained mysteries. Come along with us as we transcend into another dimension of obscured reality.
Welcome back to Obscured Reality. Stevie and Mark with you again tonight. Bling, bling. How's it going?
It's going really good. Really good.
Good.
How about you?
Good. It's going. It's another day, another dollar. I'm sure everybody out there knows how that goes.
Yeah.
And then another dollar text.
Yes. $7 taxed. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, you want to pick the show again tonight?
Sure.
All right. This time I'm going to give you a number choice, 1 through 50, and we'll see what you choose for us here.
26.
26. Okay. Oh, well, April Fools. The story was just in the news, so it doesn't matter what number it was. We this has to do with UAPs again. Not by choice. This is by just saw this article yesterday or the day before, I forget. But there's some updates out there now with the whole UAP thing and Congress and all this stuff. So
Perfect.
Figure we'll check it out, talk about it, see what's going on. The title of the article was "Lawmakers Claim UFO Cover-Ups," that's in quotes, cover-ups, from Pentagon, military, as witnesses head to Congress. So just by the headline, they're saying basically Congress or lawmakers, their quotes is the word cover-ups. Okay, so that kind of tells me that they might know something. I don't know. We'll take a look and see here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good article, lengthwise, so we'll get through it. But it's just an update on this whole UAP thing and see what's out there, what's going on here. So here's what happened. The lawmakers said that they had, and again in quotes, an argument with a commanding officer and I'm not sure how to pronounce this Air Force base. Eglin, Eglin. I've actually never heard of the base. It's in Florida. Eglin or Eglin Air Force Base. I'm going to say
Eglin.
Air Force Base in Florida, as they pushed for answers about UFOs. So some of these lawmakers were in Florida, meeting with, it looks like, the Air Force, right, at Eglin Air Force Base, and they had an argument with them. So let's see what happened. The Congress people that were there, this was Representatives Tim Burchett and Anna Paulina. Now, Tim Burchett, I'm sure you guys have heard, he's been a name in this whole UAP thing and part of Congress really pushing for answers here. And so they said that their efforts to disclose records about UFOs, or what the government calls unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, have been met with resistance from the Pentagon and intelligence community. So they're saying that about the Pentagon, the Air Force. Now, kind of important because The one entity that has not come out and said crap about UAPs is the Air Force. Yet, in half these damn stories, you hear dating back decades and decades and decades, one of the entities that seems to always be present is the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
That has been a very large claim, yet they're one of the ones that have not said a word on the
Stayed
subject
silent.
yet.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, guilty much? So, lawmakers will hear from former military service members David Grush, who we've talked about,
Yes.
Ryan Graves, who was one of the F-18 pilots,
Mm-hmm.
and David Fravor, Commander David Fravor, who was one of those pilots as well,
Mm-hmm.
during the House's National Security Subcommittee meeting next Wednesday. That's this week. So that's coming up. Burchett said this at a press conference last Thursday. So heads up, guys. They're coming out Wednesday if you're, depending when you're watching this or, when we post this. Wednesday. What's today? Do you know, Stevie? Today's the 21st?
22nd of July.
Today's the 22nd of July. So in a few days here, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. July 26th is when this is going to happen, right?
4 days.
Yeah, so let's see what's going to happen here. So this is all a quote. The Pentagon and Washington bureaucrats have kept this information hidden for decades.
You think?
And we're finally going to shed some light on it, Burchett said. We're bringing in credible witnesses who can provide public testimony because the American people deserve the truth. We're done with the cover-ups. So, now, I want to point something out. We know all of you out there have heard of Lou Elizondo. He's the guy that came out, left the government. He was running the previous UAP program called ATIP, and this has all been proven. He's been doing a lot of work with some other people and really pushing for this stuff. I don't know if they've specifically come out and said it, but they've, like Elizondo and some others have hinted towards, basically, it sounds like him and some of these other people are having meetings with Congress. They're kind of coaching them, teaching them about the topic and what the hell's been going on.
Yeah.
And coaching them on how to go about the Pentagon and Washington and in these meetings and these ones we hear on TV, right, that have been going on. They've been coaching them on that. That's because half these guys, probably most of these guys in Congress don't have a clue about the stuff and what's going on. No. So they're briefing them on the history of this shit. If you recall, the last one, the last hearing they had, public, one of them brought up, I think it was Roswell and something else, and these two guys heading up this new UFO program, they just acted like dumbfounded. They're like, you know what? We're looking at everything that's been presented to us, given across our desk, all this stuff. And basically the way it's been said leads everyone to believe that these guys are only... These guys running this program right now, they're not looking into everything. It sounds like there's a group behind them who's kind of parsing out which stories, which reports are going to go to the group. It's one of those accountability things, right? Like, the United States doesn't torture people, but what we do after we arrest them in some other country, we send them to a different country. They torture them. We just send someone there to watch and listen, right? So now you can deniable plausibility. That's all this is.
Yep.
And you can totally hear that when these guys do this. So that's kind of like what's going on here. But Elizondo and some others have been doing really good coaching them, and they're starting to really bring up the questions. And the last hearing they brought up, what about all these nukes that have been shut down? This is real shit that's really happened. What about all these UFOs that have been seen over military bases that house nukes, and they've shut down, in some instances, the actual nukes themselves. Like, if we wanted to hit the fire button, they couldn't. They're like, whoa, we've never heard of that, but it's not across our desk, so it's not, whatever. And it's like, dude, okay. Done, So that's what I'm getting from that.
Tell me you're not qualified for your job without telling me you're not qualified for your job. Like, good Lord.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. No, they know what the fuck's going on. They're just playing fucking games. And that's why they've been created now. And then, there's someone behind the scenes that's passing the shit to them.
Always someone
what they
behind
want
the
them
scenes.
to look into. Yeah, what they want them to look into. So
ridiculous.
So Burchett and Luna described tense moments as they tried to get information from the military about UFOs, and they said that the Pentagon and Air Force tried to impede their push for records. Okay, so now they're saying the Air Force is impeding them, as well as the Pentagon. So, quote, the status quo on the part of the U.S. government has been to leave the American people in the dark regarding information of UAPs, Luna said. They refused to answer questions posed by whistleblowers, avoiding the concerns of Americans and acknowledging that the possible threat UAPs pose to our national security as well as public safety is extremely unnecessary. So now we have the Pentagon, Air Force refusing basically to answer questions.
Shocker.
Yeah, is it really a shocker?
That I'm sorry if my sarcasm was not heavy enough on that.
Yeah, definitely not. I think everybody already knows that, though. All right, so another quote here. The DoD, Department of Defense, takes its congressional reporting requirements seriously and is committed to timely and thorough reporting to Congress, Goff said in an email. So Goff, who's Goff? Susan Goff. She is kind of like the spokesperson on UAPs. So if you submit a FOIA request, has to do with UFOs and aliens and all that stuff, she's the one that's probably looking into it and responding to you. I've mentioned on here before the YouTube channel Black Vault, John Greenwald Jr., he has been working with FOIA requests for decades now, and he's built a website. Everything he gets, he just publishes up there so anyone can see the stuff. He talks about her constantly. He's had conversations, emails back and forth with her. She seems to be like you either like her or you don't. A lot of people think she's totally just playing the fuckery game,
Right.
And John Greenwald, he's been respectful of her. He's a nice guy anyways, but he's been respectful of her. And he points out where he thinks there's issues, but he's still, whatever, she's doing her job. So that's that. So Goff had said that in the email, that the DoD takes its congressional reporting requirements seriously and is committed to timely and thorough reporting to Congress. So she also said AARO, AARO, the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, regularly reports on its progress to the Congress to include both its contemporary findings and its historical research on past USG UAP efforts. Call bullshit. AARO has kept Congress apprised of its efforts to support interagency cooperation on UAP while continuing to provide regular, congressionally mandated reports and briefings to the Hill, including classified briefings. Okay, yeah, they've done this, but that, it sounds like she's kind of like trying to boost them up, right? Oh, they're doing what they said. Yeah, but they're kind of fucking not. They're reporting, having the public hearings and the classified hearings, but they know more,
Yeah. I really I really liked how she tried to throw in as many big words as possible to make this like short and simple like answer longer and almost like try to mean more.
That's not the first time that claim's been made.
I just really appreciate the like emphasis on all the words that she tried to use. Like, did we go through the thesaurus for some of those? Like, good job.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's just word salad to me.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's
word
just
vomit.
Yeah, it's trying to sound professional and sound more than what they're really telling you. But I mean, they really aren't saying much in that. But it is a bunch of word salad. So during the recent trip to Eglin Air Force Base, Luna said she, Burchett, and Representative Matt Gaetz were blocked by the Pentagon and Air Force from seeing information and pictures, from reading testimony from pilots who saw potential UFOs, and from talking to witnesses. This is a quote, they visited Eglin Air Force Base because they were told, these representatives were told, they were going to be briefed on UFO related matters. This came from Burchett. So they went there because they were told, we're going to brief you on UFO stuff.
Right.
They get there and the Air Force says, fuck off.
We lied.
Yeah. Yep.
Ta-da.
So, quote again, the synopsis had nothing to do with UFOs. And we stopped the thing in the middle of it and said, hey, this is not what you all told us we were coming down here for. And they basically told us we're not going to get into UAPs. Again, that's from Burchett. So they were told by the Air Force, we're not going to get into UAPs. But
that was the whole point of them going.
Exactly.
So, like...
Exactly.
Talk about some gaslighting. Holy shit.
Yeah. So Luna said this sparked the confrontation with the commanding general at the base. The commanding general.
Wow.
Even before we got down there, the Pentagon tried to stop the field hearing, she said. After much arm twisting, we got some of the information, but the fact is that they answer to Congress, acting on behalf of the American people, and any government entity that attempts to stonewall us is doing nothing in the best interest of the American people, Luna stated. In the Air Force, the Pentagon thinks they're above Congress. Then they have another thing coming to them. We told them we were going to do this if they continue to hide information. The House's Subcommittee on National Security, the Border and Foreign Affairs, will hold a hearing Wednesday titled Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, Implications on National Security, Public Safety, and Government Transparency. The purpose of the hearing... What's that?
I said, I wonder if that's going to be on C-SPAN.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's public, so it'll be televised. So. Yeah, they've all been televised. And then they have their back door. Record.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then they have their back door classified. Ain't no need to record it. Everyone else is gonna.
True. Cliff notes. You know? I want the cliff notes.
Right.
I was just gonna fast forward and listen to small segments and fast forward again.
Yep. So we'll probably have multiple episodes in a row on this. You know, I'm trying to get to some other stuff. I want to do some other real stories. You know, like Bigfoot. You know, lost civilizations, all that stuff. But this stuff keeps popping up. Right when we're going to jump to it, boom. So. The purpose of the hearing is to listen to firsthand accounts from David Grush, Ryan Graves, and David Fravor about UFOs and assess the federal government's transparency and accountability with regard to possible threats to national security. So David Grush, you guys all heard of him.
Yes.
He's a decorated Air Force veteran, came forward with assertions about a secret government-run crashed UFO retrieval program to reverse engineer the technology. He's a former combat officer in Afghanistan who served the National Reconnaissance Office, or the NRO, as their representative to Congress, as their representative to Congress's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force from 2019 to 2021.
Yeah, this man has a very intricate UAP UFO committee head membership involvement heavily,
right?
And so just he just, I don't know, I know we talk about credibility a lot and how you can't really like base credibility off how somebody looks, but like when they have a track record like that, you can't help but be like, this motherfucker's super credible.
Well,
Like,
right. So
yeah.
so that what he was a part of from 2019
Mm.
2021 was the UAP. So it's called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force.
Mm.
Most of us have heard of it as the UAPTF. So we know Elizondo came forward. Hey, I was running ATIP. Blah blah blah. Boom. Then they changed the name. Hey, now we have the UAPTF, and they've since changed it again. You got Arrow, and you got all this other shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing, and it's confusing for a reason. To be confusing. Yeah, so I mean, they keep changing the name, and I mean, this is throughout history with UAPs or anything. This is what they did with one of the other shows we did about projects, the different projects, Project 114, 115, whatever they were, Artichoke, all that stuff.
To Manhattan, yeah.
Yeah, some of those were just back-to-back projects. They were all the same fucking thing. They just changed the name. That's all it was, and they may change a little bit of the outline of what they're doing, but ultimately it's the same goddamn program, know. So the thing with David Grush, I just want to point out real quick. He said, he's asserting there's a secret government-run crashed UFO retrieval program to reverse engineer the technology. So we look at a guy like this who seems like he might be, similar to another Luis Elizondo, meaning very credible. We're probably not going to find that this guy's lying about anything. He's probably straight fucking forward and telling the truth. If what he's saying is true, think about this. What does that mean for a story like Bob Lazar's? Probably true or possibly true. You can at least assign hey, it's possibly true. I'm just saying, the reason I mention that is because we've heard these stories for a long time. We've heard from anonymous whistleblowers for a long time, and it's turning out all the shit's been true. Yeah. So that means this stuff's dated back probably again since Roswell. Something probably really did crash in Roswell, not a goddamn balloon. No. So, just point that out. If what he's saying is true, that lends a lot of credibility to other stories we've heard. I'm not saying that makes Lazar's story true. Lazar clearly was a liar, straight up to George Knapp when he originally came out with this story. But doesn't mean it's not true. Doesn't mean it is true. We don't know. So Ryan Graves, he's a former Navy fighter pilot who became the first to testify about UAPs while on active duty, encountered several unexplained phenomena during his decorated career. Quote, "While I was in the Navy, myself and others in my squadron had an experience that continues to this day, and at first was something that we didn't have a name for." This is what he said in previous interviews. Commander David Fravor, we've heard of him too.
Yep.
He's a former squadron leader who served 18 years as a Navy pilot and who spotted what's become known as the Tic Tac UFO during a 2004 training mission about 60 to 100 miles off the coast between San Diego and Ensenada, Mexico. The initial sighting was described as a white Tic Tac about the same size as a F-18 Hornet fighter plane, 40 feet long with no wings, just hanging close to the water. That seemed to mirror the pilot's movements before it suddenly disappeared. Now, as we remember when Commander David Fravor went out, they had already, him and his wing, I'm going to say wingman, just because that's always been the term, but it was a female.
Wing person.
It was a female. Okay. They were already going out to do training. They'd already taken off when they were called by the carrier and asked, "Hey, are you guys have any armament on you?" And they're like, "No, we're training. We don't have any live rounds." They're like, "Stop the training. Go check this out." So they got close. They started getting it on radar or whatever it was, and they were looking and they didn't see shit. What caught his eye was a disturbance, a very large disturbance in the water. And keep in mind, they were at like, I think, 20,000 feet. And so they noticed this disturbance in the water down below, a bunch of like little white caps, all over, just completely abnormal. And that's how they found the Tic Tac. They said it was down there right above the water, just like jolting around, just going like boom, 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 like ping pong.
Yeah.
That's initially when it caught their attention, what it was doing. So, so as far as Grush, David Grush, he claims his claims have not been definitively confirmed nor denied, and the pilots have not received any information about what they saw. Quote, the American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena, Graves told Fox News during an interview. This was, I believe, last Wednesday. Quote, we are not only working to declassify what the government has previously learned about these phenomena, but to create a pipeline for future research to be made public.
This was on his Fox News interview? You said?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, AARO, which is a specialized department in the Pentagon that investigates UAPs, is currently investigating about 800 cases, according to Director Sean Kirkpatrick. Me and probably everyone out there thinks of him. About 2% to 5% of the 800 cases that AARO is investigating are truly anomalous, Kirkpatrick said. NASA, just some info, NASA is also investigating UAPs, running on a separate but parallel track as AARO.
What?
Separate but parallel track. So that means you guys run your own investigation, but whatever you find, talk to us. Both NASA and AARO are expected to release separate reports this summer. Who's willing to bet those reports are going to sound very familiar? Yep.
Yep.
I mean, give me a fucking break. Of course NASA has a hand in the shit. I
mean, it's fucking NASA.
I'm only going to say if, because I know there's people out there that believe we never went to the moon, but if we really did go to the moon, right? NASA was the one, space shuttle, all that. And always having shit out in space, putting people out in space. The possibility that if there is something else out there and it's here and it's doing shit out there, the possibility that they've never noticed, I don't know. I find that hard to believe that they don't have a clue in this whole thing and what's going on. I mean, think of NASA.
I mean, people live at the International Space Station pretty much all year round. So
yeah, when you think of NASA, when you hear the word NASA, if I were to ask you, what's the first thing that comes to mind, given the following question? When you hear the name NASA, how do you think of them regarding an entity of their own or an entity of something bigger, meaning the government, right? Like the military. You hear the military, a lot of people see them separate, but ultimately they're the government, right? All the people enlisted, most of them aren't the government, right? But
yes,
top dogs,
that's how I see
all fucking government. It's a representation of the government, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like I do see them as a separate entity, but at the same time, I ultimately do see them as part of the government, because like they never did the Tesla thing, and did the entrepreneurship where they're like, oh, this is all privately funded or whatever. Like I've just always known it to be like government funded exploration, which I'm really sad that we no longer fund. Like that's kind of depressing for me.
Well, I mean, if
space is beautiful and mysterious and could hold answers.
If everything about that is truthful, the reason why was because they wanted to. There wasn't any push for new technology, right? To innovate, and that was supposedly the biggie behind it. By not doing that, then they're kind of pushing people like, who's the Amazon douchebag? What's his name?
Jeff Bezos. There we go.
Bezos, yeah, Jeff Bezos,
Mhm.
pushing people like him and Elon Musk and
Mhm.
Branson to get creative. They have
Yeah.
the money, blah blah blah, right? And it's a way
Mhm.
to keep the government from spending that kind of money, which is funny because we are in a military ammunition shortage because of how much we've given to Ukraine, and they are currently boosting up production.
Hmm.
So they'll spend the money on that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Forget the homeless problem. Forget
Mm.
the problem. Forget the problem with our education system all over the entire country.
Forget the problem with the
You
veterans.
know?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, all of that.
Mm.
So, it's interesting. It's funny. I mean,
Hmm.
it's funny when you think
I have
about it. They're
it.
such douchebags, but
It's funny, not in a ha ha way, but in a oh fuck
right.
type of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
What's the audio?
it
Not funny, haha. Funny
it
something.
is what it is. What are you going to do? Um,
As
but
long as
Congress.
people continue to vote these assholes into office, nothing is going to change. Not a goddamn thing.
Well, I mean, that brings up a whole nother idea,
Mm.
conspiracy theory. I mean, do you really think you have a choice,
No.
no matter how
Truly
you
no.
vote?
Truly no.
Right? Like
I mean,
it.
fucking Biden, fucking
But
Trump. Those two are perfect
well,
examples. Like, it is just a
hold
fucking
up. I
shit
mean,
show.
because Trump's not seen as he's not seen as the norm.
No, but
He was not expected to be elected.
right. But
So was he really a plant?
I feel like it. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't
I feel
know
like
because
Trump
he's
was. I
gone
feel like
against
Biden
everything.
is. I mean
Yeah.
that's the whole. I feel like that was the whole point of Trump, is because he is a perfect person to separate groups of people
Yeah.
through antagonistic methods. Um, you know, so
Gotcha. Okay.
and then it
That makes
drives
sense.
the separation of people, and it just drives like
Right.
the Dems to be Dems hardcore to their install these to your children these values, and then same thing with the Republicans. It's very much like trying to separate groups of people to the point where it's just like, I don't want to say it, but a couple decades ago during a particular world war where groups of people were
A
being
couple
blamed.
decades?
Okay, a lot of decades.
Jesus.
Look, it's still
You saying
2000
we
for
already
me.
had World War III? I mean, I know we're almost there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, seriously though, like I really
Yeah.
feel like that he was absolutely intentional, and then to put Biden, how the fuck did he win?
Well,
I don't
so
believe it.
that's the thing with Biden.
So
Like
no, to
whatever.
answer your question, no.
If Biden could
Ah.
win, Biden could win. But here's my problem now with the current political office. Well, Biden, right? Is how do we have a guy like Trump who is actually doing something for a fucking change, and
Sometimes.
the other side pushed so hard to impeach him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have Biden, who's clearly out of his fucking
Yeah.
mind. I was watching this video the other day, one where he was walking up because he again kind of tripped, but not, going up the stairs, getting into Air Force One, and he gets to the top and he kind of turns around like a robot and he's like, waves real quick. Like, he doesn't even move his wrist. Like, dude, I broke my wrist. My left wrist was broke. That's all the movement I have. My right wrist, dislocated. That still has pretty much full movement. But my left one, boom, won't bend, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was like. And I could still make a wave look human. He turned around at the top of the stairs and he goes like
Did he
this.
do
He was
like
standing
the
right,
angle
right
at the
inside the airplane.
elbow?
Yeah, he was just like, it was like he was like trying to poop or something. And then he turns around and he was completely, you could see when he turned around, seemed like he was someone who was completely unaware of his surroundings and what was around him there. And he just turns around and you can see like one of his hands. Think of a blind person, okay? He fully blind. As he turns around, his hand just gently bumps like the side of the aircraft or something. But as soon as it touches, like his fingers touch, you can see that was the moment his nerves sent a message to his brain and said, "Idiot." And he's like, just moves his hand and puts it on and keeps turning around. It's not a big deal. But the point is, you can see he's clearly just out in fucking space, man. No pun intended. And I'm wondering, like, there's no move to impeach him. Like, I'm just hearing about possible impeachment now. But this guy is clearly, I mean, to me, it really seems like this guy is just a cover story. He's just a fucking face. And whoever is pulling this shit off just wants us to look fucking stupid and for a reason. What's the reason? Why would they want us to look this bad to the rest of the world? You know? I mean, come on. Dude, they just found cocaine in the White House.
I know.
Oh, wait. I think Hunter Biden was there recently.
And then they're like, we don't know how it got here. I'm like, you're telling me that the world's most
it was in
secure
public lockers.
fucking like
It was
they
in
don't
public
have
lockers.
okay, but like they don't know whose locker that was. Like
Yeah,
they don't have
know.
they don't have
Yeah,
like
of course they're
cameras on the
watching.
lockers, like, or is it like in a locker room where it'd be creepy to have cameras, or was it like a hallway locker, or was it like a locker in a storage area? Like what kind of locker are we talking
No,
about?
these were public lockers. There's like 200 of them or something, and
Okay, so like
you
should
lock
have
your shit up.
been like within view of like a camera or something, but like
I don't know, but apparently
Aren't
they
people
found
scr-
marijuana in there before as well, and nothing's been done. So it's like, well, maybe they don't. Like, are they really that unsecure? Come fucking on, dude. Come on. I want to know what the fucking game is. If Biden's a plant, why do they want us to look this dumb to the entire stage? Why? What would be the purpose? But anyways, we need to digress.
yes.
You know, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, this whole thing with the UAPs, guys, go with your fucking gut on this stuff right now. You know, it doesn't matter if the stuff is human. It doesn't matter if it's extraterrestrial. We don't have proof either way, at least civilian wise. We don't have proof either way. We don't have a clue, right?
Yeah.
But we know for a fact this shit's been going on in modern time for decades and decades and decades and decades, all the way back to Roswell, if not longer. And then we see from history, books, pictures, paintings, carvings, all of this stuff. It's been going on for centuries. Centuries. And possibly thousands of years.
I mean, we did talk about like carvings and pictures of like you know men in spacesuits from like different civilizations. Right. Like we've talked about that in great detail. So absolutely, I don't know.
You have historical back to supposed biblical times. You know, like those paintings we saw. That was it Mary or someone else? I forget who it was. And a star in the sky and this fucking beam of light coming down from this object. Yeah,
and then the ones where they were in each one of the corners, and they're like they looked strange. They were very strange shaped like objects that were flying with people in it. Well, people.
Yep. Well,
I love it.
Whatever they were. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, guys, go with your gut. We know, like, you're not stupid, okay? Yeah. And you shouldn't be made to feel stupid by your own government about this stuff because something's going on. That's a 100% fucking fact, and it needs to come out. Unfortunately, the way it's currently looking is that civilians are going to have to do the work and find the conclusions for this stuff because they're, at least as of now, they've not said shit really, and it doesn't look like they're going to.
Nah.
You know, I mean, there's ways to do it, but those are ways I don't want to publicly mention because I don't advocate it. But it's like, you know,
we know nothing.
Now I slowly start to realize over the last few years why some people do go the routes that I'm thinking, because it ultimately seems like you don't have a choice if you really want answers. You want the truth about something, you know. So I don't know. I mean, we got the hearing coming this Wednesday, so I'm probably not going to watch it live, but I won't be able to. But I'm definitely going to read about it that day and see what happened. I thought Fravor and Graves and all them already testified. I guess not. But do they even need to fucking testify? We already have their stories, man. Let's
Right.
just defocus on them and focus on Congress on pushing as hard as you fucking can, because you ultimately there's something going on behind the
Yep.
scenes and you need to get to that
Yes.
and figure out why. And hey,
Yes.
Congress, hey, hopefully you don't hear our show too late. I'm sure you will.
I'm sure they will hear it within time. Absolutely within time.
Yeah, here's what I have to say. If you're making a push and you guys are completely legit, which it seems like you are in looking for answers here, here's my suggestion. Get a group, get your own group from within the military. You could probably make a push and get a huge group. Force your ass into the Nevada test and training range out there in Nevada. The same huge miniature state where Area 51 is located. Go to Papoose Lake, force your way in there, scour the mountains where they butt up to the lake bed, bring electronics, bring sensors, underground imaging, and all that, and see if those 9 hangars from Bob Lazar's story are there. Because I'm telling you right now, the way everything's going, it's all leading up to the same shit Lazar claimed back then, and now you hear David Grush claiming the same fucking thing. And then we have a huge UFO wave right now that's been going on for years. I've seen some stuff that is unexplainable. Plenty of you have. And some of the things that have been described, well, they've been described and on video. Think of some of these gimbal go fast, some of these that have come out, doing exactly what, behaving in a manner that Lazar described back in 1989. This is how they work. And we're seeing that now. It lends some credibility to Lazar's story. My point is, Congress, get people together, go make a push, and force your fucking way in there. Right there, if there's a chance there's something there, you find out that, hey, there is an underground structure in the mountains butting up to Papoose Lake. Now you know, they know, and that they're hiding way more than you even can possibly imagine. And at that point, you will know the push you need to make from there forward will have to be 100 times more drastic than what you're doing now. I mean, it's as simple as that. You have a name and a location right now, so figure out a way in. Do it. I don't know. Don't mean to sound like an asshole, but you know what? I'm sick of this shit. It's
I don't think
keeps
you sound
coming
like
out.
an asshole.
Who knows? I'm not anti-government. We need a government. We need law enforcement, right?
But we also need transparency
at what
and
point?
honesty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think? I mean, this article just came out the other day about what's going on, and these people, these Congress people, going to Florida, meeting with the Air Force, who's been mum on everything. The one of the 3 entities that's not said a word. And they supposedly have the biggest hand in it. And totally turned them down, and that's what they were there for.
Yeah, I mean, that does not surprise me whatsoever. But so it'll be very interesting come this hearing on Wednesday. Do I think there'll be a lot of pleading of the fifths and like maybe a no-show?
Yeah, they're not going to say shit. Oh, there won't be a no-show. They're just going to do the same runaround bullshit they've been doing.
I just don't think that it's going to produce any answers. Just because you're under oath they'll find ways to phrase it,
Well, that under oath doesn't matter when you're talking about these guys running Arrow. They're put there by whoever knows what the fuck is going on. They're put there to cover it up. They're put there to disinfect the waters, so to speak. They're there to push you this way.
Yeah, I just don't think they're
even though you need
anything.
to be going this way. That's what they're That's
Yeah.
ultimately what they're doing,
Yeah, and
throwing you off.
they're just not gonna say
Yeah,
anything. Like,
they're trying to make it look like they're really looking into it when
mm,
ultimately what they're really looking into, there's not much there.
mm-hmm,
They know they can pass a lot of this stuff off. That's all they're going to look into. But they're being questioned about things like Roswell, the nukes being shut down multiple times at different bases across the world.
mm-hmm.
What? We've never heard of that. Guys, push hard, push harder, push harder. That's all I got to say. Now that I'm pissed off. I hate being lied to. And this, like, you always hear about this shit with other countries. You hear how oppressive China is. Oh, and
Yeah.
China, man, they look like rose petals compared to North Korea. You always hear about that shit. But guys, you're seeing it happen to us now with COVID, with this UAP thing. You're seeing it happen here.
I
You
actually
know?
you bring up North Korea. I just recently saw an interview of a girl who had defected, and she was just skin and bones, and she was telling just like the
Yeah,
worst
they're
stories, and it's like,
starving.
God damn, like I
It's
feel
so bad
so
out there.
bad.
Even the military on any given day, they're out there in uniform in the fields helping
Mm-hmm.
the other people farm and do all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
And then
the
then the
places.
government takes all of it and leaves them with just like scraps to
Oh
survive
yeah,
on.
and it came out
Yeah.
recently that Kim Jong Un supposedly has this like ridiculously high taste in food, and he's like the way the article read is I envisioned in my head, a king and queen sitting down to this feast of food that they possibly couldn't eat all of, and it's like this high class food and shrimp and lobster and all this shit, right? And just tons of it, but they're only going to eat like a plate of it and all the rest is going to the trash. That's essentially what this article was about. Was like, oh, apparently Kim Jong-un, well, I mean, you can see from looking at him he loves food. But he's got this high taste in food and all this food and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, it's so fucking sad. You're gonna sit there and put that image out when you're literally starving. And what's funny about that? Not even funny. Sad
Mm.
is those people still back him. Is that 100% out of fear?
Yes. God,
you know?
absolutely. Because if anyone in your family fucks up, 3 generations have to pay for your fuck up. And like,
Yeah.
so like, how
You have to keep
terrible.
you
How
have to keep that
terrible.
state media video running on your TV
Yeah.
or radio all fucking day.
Yeah.
They're blaring it out in the streets everywhere.
You can
Like,
only have
oh my
like one of
god.
like 10 haircuts and even less for men. Like they build cities on the DMZ to make South Korea think that they're doing well. Like I guess not realizing we know goddamn well they're not. Just so they look like they're prospering. They'll build empty fake cities.
I don't think that has to do with. I
Oh
haven't
no,
heard of
it's
any on the.
absolutely a fake bluff,
No,
dude.
no, no, no. I'm saying I haven't heard of any on the DMZ.
Like yeah,
But
no,
if they are,
yeah, they're close to one.
on the DMZ, the purpose of that
No,
is
not on it,
because
but like on the border of it. With
right.
yeah,
The purpose of that, to me, would probably seem to be that's where they have the meetings, right? Like when Trump flew out there, they met on that line on the DMZ,
mm,
right? Well, you're saying DMZ. I'm sorry, I'm thinking something else, but I'm talking about that border right there between South
yeah,
Korea and North
yeah.
Korea. Okay,
The demilitarized zone. Yeah.
so if they're building fake cities right there,
Mhm.
that totally makes sense because now you have a nice looking background for any pictures or videos that may come out of there.
Exactly, but
But
yeah, it's just
but
all
we already
fake,
know
and
they
people
do
are
this. Yeah,
terrible.
we already know they do the storefront at places
Hmm.
where
Yes,
people from out of the country come in and all that
the
bullshit. And it's
storefront
like,
stuff. Yeah, where they can't go into
I hope,
certain stores because they're not
yeah,
real. Yeah,
yeah.
and
So
then
you
you
look at that
cannot
stuff and it's
cut.
like,
You have to take a full body picture of the great leaders. You can't like cut the body in any way and crop it.
yeah,
Must be the full. Yeah,
yeah.
crazy. I
So
just
you
poor
you
people.
see the propaganda there, but
Oh.
guys, it's happening here now.
Mm,
Obviously, nowhere near to that extent,
mm.
but it still matters because you're talking next to free energy. If this shit's true, and if this shit proves Bob Lazar's story is true, that means there's a stable version of Element 115. If there's a stable version of that, and we have that, you're talking about powering the entire country. off of that and not having to pay an arm and a leg.
It would absolutely crash the economy. Oil and gas, we're so dependent on it in so
the
many
economy
ways.
is only what the government says it is.
So many
They
people
could-
would be out of a job.
Yeah, but they could. Long story. We'll go into it another time.
Okay,
Not on
okay,
here.
Okay.
But, So, yeah, that's it. Guys, keep your eyes out. Wednesday is when this hearing's coming out. We'll see. As usual, I mean, I'm not expecting much from it, but I think the only interesting thing that's coming out of these right now is to see how dismissive these two, Sean Kirkpatrick and the other douchebag are, see how dismissive they are on everything and how they beat around the bush. That's interesting. But other than that, I mean, sounds like they're not getting much more than that out of the classified briefings afterwards either. So who knows? With that said, Sean Kirkpatrick told me to tell you guys to like, share, and subscribe. If you comment down below, if you got a story of your own, shoot us an email at obscuredr1@gmail.com. Type story in the subject line so we know what it is. We will tell your obscure story on here. You see ghosts, you've seen ghosts, you're one of those people that have believed from maybe hypnosis regression that an odd time in your life, it turns out your memory isn't quite there because you supposedly were one of the ones that were taken as a child by the government/military onto spaceships and put on Mars for whatever learning, training for the security teams out there that supposedly has happened. You laugh, Stevie, but these are real fucking stories, man. Doesn't mean it's true. Don't know. But we'll tell your story. If you want to come on and tell your story yourself, you can do that. We will let you. It's super easy to do. Not a problem at all. You can remain anonymous. You can do audio only. That's fine. It's easy to do. You don't really have to do shit, but click link.
Yep.
Bells, and whistles.
Bells. Click that bell to subscribe so you can be notified of every new episode that we drop. We drop weekly at 5 Eastern, 8 Pacific, and then sometimes periodically throughout the week, depending on what the topic may be.
5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, guys.
Damn it!
Just FYI. Every time she does it, I never correct her. But I'm gonna tonight because it was more blatant. 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. You know, take a sticky note, put it up on your monitor there. Put 5 PST, 8 EST, or however you want to say it.
Yeah, no. It's probably because I'm always high, too.
Comes out when it comes out.
Yeah, you'll know.
Right.
See, if you hit the bell, you'll know. It doesn't matter what fucking time it is. You'll know.
Yeah. Just remember Fridays. Sometime
in the
Friday
evening. Yep.
Seriously, though, shoot us your stories. obscuredr1@gmail.com. With that, I'm looking forward to this hearing on Wednesday, kind of. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back with us often for new episodes. Feel free to drop a comment and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.